name is Helen, and today we are going to be talking about the books that I want to read in 2020 and which I think will be 5 stars. So this is a combination of books that are being released in 2020 and books that are on my bookshelf that I want to read because I think I'm going to love them. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. The first book on this list is a book that is coming out this year. It comes out in March, and it is called Witches of Ashton Ruin by E. Latimer. This is the story of Dana, who is bisexual and has somatic OCD, and she was recently outed as bisexual. The outing does not happen on page, but it is alluded to. She's a witch, and there's a rival coven coming to her town, and there's a female-female romance, and it's set in Ireland. Just everything about this book sounds like it's going to be so good, and I'm very excited to read it. The second book on this list also is coming out next year, but I'm not sure about the release date, and that is Burn Our Bodies Down by Rory Power, who wrote Wilder Girls. I don't know a whole lot about this book, but I have seen the author tweet about it, and her tweets make it sound so interesting. I've heard her call it the Corn Book, and I just gotta know why. I gotta know why corn plays such a big role. Wilder Girls was one of my most anticipated books for last year. I still haven't read it. I'm going to. Promise. That should be on this list too, because I think it's going to be 5 stars. The third book on this list is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I read A Court of Thorns and Roses years ago, I think in 2015. I know I read it during Booktubeathon one year. I'll try to find my wrap-up for it, and I'll link that down below and in the cards up above. But this is the sequel, and I've heard fantastic things, and my old roommate read these books because I pointed her in their direction, and then she has finished all of the books that are out so far, and I still haven't read the second book, so I need to read it. In tangent with this, I do own A Court of Winds and Ruin. I also own A Court of Frost and Starlight, Court of Starlight and Frost, whatever order that one was going. So I would like to read all of them, but ACMAF is my top priority. Next, I would like to read Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I have heard nothing but good things about this entire trilogy. I own the first 2 books. I'm waiting for the Toll to come out in paperback. But the whole premise of it sounds so cool. It's basically a Grim Reaper story, and Reapers are one of my favorite things that exist in any form of mythology. So I'm very excited to read this book. As I said, I've heard nothing but good things. This is a dystopian where humans have conquered death, and so they have to have these people called scythes who kill people to maintain the population. I'm so excited to read this book whenever I actually get to it. My next book is technically a series. I want to read all of the Raven Cycle. I listened to the audiobook of the first book last year, very early last year. I remember very little of it. I own the whole quartet now, so I would love to read all 4 books, one right after the other, and actually just get the whole story. So hopefully that's a thing that'll happen, because I do think all of them are going to be highly rated. I gave the first book 5 stars. I have heard nothing but amazing things about books 2 and 3. The only book I'm not so sure about is book 4, but I still hold out hope. The next book that I have on this list is another 2020 release, and I think it comes out in February or March as well, and it is The Vanishing Deep by Astrid Scholt. This is the same author who wrote 4 Dead Queens, which came out last year. I did read 4 Dead Queens last year, and I talked about it in a wrap-up as well. I'll leave the link to that one down below and up in the cards. I liked a lot about 4 Dead Queens. I really liked the writing, I liked the actual story. The things that I had trouble with were basically the romance, and the last 50 or so pages of the book just didn't quite work for me, so I ended up giving the book 3 out of 5 stars. But I think that Astrid Scholt is an amazing writer, and I think that her next book is going to be even better, so I'm very excited to read it, and I think it could be a 5-star book. The next book on this list is Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. This is a book that I have, and I want to read. It looks so cool. This is supposed to be a very gothic fantasy, which sounds fantastic. And I would also like to read Ruthless Gods when that comes out, if I liked Wicked Saints. We shall see. The next one on my list is House of Earth and Blood, or Crescent City, which is the adult fantasy that Sarah J. Maas is putting out this year. I really really enjoyed A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I'm just hoping that I will enjoy all of her books now. I'm excited to see what she'll do with an adult fantasy. The premise I know nothing about, because I have purposely tried not to be spoiled for it, but the cover's beautiful, and I am excited. Also, I might as well mention here, I really want to read Throne of Glass this year. It's another book I've heard like really amazing things about, and I do enjoy Sarah J. Maas's writing, so I should probably read her OG series. And the final book I have on here isn't so much a 5-star prediction as it is one of the oldest books on my shelf, and I just need to fucking read it already. And that is The Demon Trapper's Daughter by Jana Oliver. I did hear really good things about this back when I first started my channel. I think Kat from Cattytastic had read it or talked about it or something. I don't know, I just know I bought it. And I need to read it. And maybe it will end up being 5 stars. Who knows? I own the second book as well, so I could go right into the second book in that series if I do enjoy it. Those are all of my 5-star predictions / books I want to read in 2020. What are some of your 5-star predictions? And what books do you want to read in 2020? You should let me know in the comments down below. Do you plan to read any of the books that I mentioned in this video? You should also let me know that in the comments down below. Maybe we could buddy read something. I'd be into that. I do respond to every comment on my videos, and I absolutely love hearing from you. If you liked this video, make sure you hit that like button, and if you like what I'm doing here, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to see you around more often. And with all that out of the way, I will see you all next time with a new video. Bye-bye!